if you could buy a house, financing for 30 years with zero down payment and just paying 2,000 and rent to someone for more than 2,000, why would this person rent instead of buying? By what I'm seeing in social media or whatever, Americans don't comprehend about real estate market the way that it's supposed to be. I see a lot of people just having some hard times to understand that mortgage has zero correlation with property tax or rent or anything else. Okay, I see people saying, oh, after your home is paid off, you should not have to pay taxes, or how am I supposed, why would I just charge less on rent than I pay in my mortgage? Mortgage is just a way of buy some asset. It has zero correlation with what you're gonna do with that. Okay, so if you're buying a house to live or to rent, whatever, you're just buying an asset. And when I say buying an asset, you say, okay, I want to have something that is gonna save me money or give me money. Okay, this is what you're gonna do, buy a house for. But when you compare rent with that, you're just saying, well, let's imagine that you decide that you can buy a house with zero down payment. Okay, for the sake of the argument, you buy a house with 0% down payment. You're financing everything, and you finance this in like flat rate for 30 years, and you're paying $2,000 mortgage. And you can say, well, I should make more than $2,000 by renting this property because that's how I'm gonna pay the mortgage. But the point is that after 30 years, the house is yours, and the house is gonna probably be worth more than what you actually paid. But the major problem in this argument is that if you could buy a house financing for 30 years with zero down payment and just paying 2,000 and rent to someone for more than 2,000, why would this person rent instead of buying for the same freaking $2,000? Because the person could argue, well, I'm gonna finance and just pay as rent, and if something happens and I have to give up my house, I just pay the same amount of money I would pay to rent. So of course, in a situation where you have zero down payment, mortgage have to be more than rent. Otherwise, people will not rent anymore. They'll just mortgage. They will just carry the risk. They will not have any risk of bankruptcy anymore because they're already paying more. Can you understand this? You know, it is like lease a car. If you argue that leasing a car is more expensive than financing, why would someone lease a car? You know my point? So when you're just doing the mortgage, it's like you're financing a car, and when you're just paying rent, it's like leasing a car. And if the moment you understand it, now you got what is wrong with the market in America. Is because people are just deciding to buy a lot of houses and putting the acquisition cost into the person who is renting, which creates a huge demand and increase of prices. Prices are just increasing because people that should be buying houses and paying for their houses with the money they are paying rent, they cannot buy the house anymore because other people are just buying those houses and giving a small down payment and just paying the whole mortgage with rent. That's what the real estate gurus are teaching, which increases the demand artificially. And now you guys are coming to a situation where it's almost impossible to buy a house. It's super complicated if you don't have some initial money. And the prices are big, and the prices should be lower because the interest rates just went up, and houses should be like stocks. If the interest rates go up, the price should go down because when you do the cash flow, but it's not happening in the real estate market right now. So what I would like you guys to understand is that you will probably face some crisis, some real estate crisis in the next years, when those things start to correct. The same way, not the same level, but the same way you had a housing crisis in 2008, because people were just buying houses and trusting that the appreciation of the house will just pay the loans that they were taking. This is one of the reasons of the crisis. So someone had a $150,000 house, and the bank will just like lend them $50,000, and at the end the house appreciated so much that the appreciation of the house just cancel everything. This is some kind of this is gonna happen in the American market. One of the problems you guys have right now, because you have fixed interest rates, if you bought a house with low interest rate, it's better for you to carry that financing forever until the end than just pay off, because the interest rate that you're paying is too low. That's why you cannot change your house anymore, because if you decided to sell your house and buy a new one, you're gonna buy a new one with the actual with the actual interest rate. But the actual interest rate will make your monthly payment be super high. And the problem is that to avoid another 2008 crisis, they just locked the interest rate, which allowed a lot of people during COVID to buy houses for a price, for a carrying cost that is so low compared to right now. To compensate it, the price of the houses should have coming down, so the financing cost will be kind of the same, but because this artificial demand of people trying to buy houses to rent, the prices didn't go down. And it's gonna have some kind of crisis in the next years, unless some other thing happened that just changed the market. But it's gonna have some crisis in the real estate market in the United States, because those prices are not sustainable in the long term. So there's only two options: or it's gonna have some burst in the bubble to make the prices just go down, or it's gonna happen the same that happens here in Brazil from 2013 to 2020. Okay, in Brazil, you have the price of the houses kind of go flat, and the market kind of stuck with very few deals happening during more than 5 years, until inflation just compensated everything. So you had, I don't know, 500,000 reais apartment here in Brazil in 2013, and you wanted to sell. It's super hard to sell, and you could sell for that price in 2019. But the point is that $500,000 in 2019 is not worth the same 500,000 reais in 2013. You just lost the interest and that you should be receiving that time, the correction of the end inflation that. So this is probably what I think is going to have to be the two possibilities for the American economy right now. Or you're going to have a decrease in price, which I don't know, or maybe the price is going to somehow be stuck for years until the real value of those things just keep the pace and make things acceptable again. I'm starting to make those videos to talk about America, and please subscribe. It's going to be a pleasure.